Good morning, students. Now, in the last lecture of BA, we have completed Unit 1. In the last lecture, last question, we have discussed about the industry and its types. Now, we are here to discuss about Unit 2. And our Unit 2 is Business Services Part 1. Do you all remember the definition or the meaning of commerce? I hope you all have replied yes. So, the meaning of commerce is trade and auxiliary services to trade. In Unit 1, we have seen the concept of trade in detail, like we have seen the characteristics, we have seen the meaning, we have seen the types of trade, internal trade, international trade, wholesale trade, retail trade. Then we have seen the difference between trade and commerce. But what about those ancillary services? जो मीनिंग में हम लोग बोलते थे that commerce means trade and ancillary or auxiliary services to trade. So what about those services? About trade we have discussed in detail in the previous video. But when it comes to those services, so here we have Unit 2 and Unit 3. Both are about those auxiliary or ancillary services which are, when added to the trade, it's known as commerce. So we have divided those services into two parts. The one is business service part 1 and the third chapter, that is business service part 2. And in business service part 2, we are going to discuss about only banking and the finance, where in case of Unit 2, that is business service part 1, we are going to discuss insurance, that is our today's question, then postal services. Total 16 services are given in the textbook. All 16 are important. Majority of them are still in operation. Means majority of the services are still provided by government, by the postal department to the people of the nation. Then we have warehouse, that is also known as godown. So we'll be talking about meaning of godown and the types of godown. And the last is transport services. Again, it's most important because we have seen in Unit 1 that when it comes to production, when it comes to industry, a utility is created. It can be a form utility, it can be a time utility, it can be a place utility. That place utility creation depends upon the services of transport. So this chapter contains 4 main types of business services, that is insurance, postal, warehouse and transport. We will complete insurance first, then we'll move to warehouse and transport because both the concepts are very small in size and easy to understand. So first insurance, then warehouse, then transport, and at last we'll be talking about postal services. So shall we start? Okay. Insurance. We all have heard insurance in our regular course of life. We might have heard that our our parents are talking to each other that this month we need to pay premium for LIC, or let us take one more policy for the betterment of our child's future. So these words, premium and policy, these are very common words. Policy means it's a written document which is given by insurance company to the insuree. Insurance company, that is insurer, to the insuree or insured, insuree or insured. And when it comes to the term premium, so either your parents are paying monthly premium or quarterly or half yearly or annually. Means this is the fixed amount that is decided at the time of entering into a contract of insurance, that this fixed amount will be paid by the insuree, and against that insurance company will protect us. Now when it comes to insurance, so there are many types of insurance: life insurance, general insurance, in life insurance, endowment insurance, that is endowment plan, in life insurance, term plan. Same way, when we are talking about general insurance, the insurance can be for fire, insurance can be for transport, mediclaim, even nowadays insurance can be taken for the animals, insurance of property, insurance of car. If you have purchased a new cell phone in recent days, then you might have heard that even insurance is taken for cell phone also. Insurance is taken for cell phone also. So the concept which you have in your mind that the insurance can be taken for our life only, no, we are wrong. For our life, there is a life insurance. There is a life insurance. But when it comes to other than life, whether it is insurance for our health, for animal, for property, or for the loss caused due to fire, theft. Yes, nowadays insurance is for employees also, for any appliances. If you are going to purchase a bike or a car or Activa, then again nowadays it is implied by the law. It is implied, the rules and regulations have been laid down by the government that insurance for the vehicle is compulsory nowadays. So today we are going to discuss the basic meaning of insurance and principles of insurance. It seems very small points, but when we'll start discussing it, you'll come to know that yes, each and every point holds importance in the contract of insurance. Insurance. Insurance refers to that written contract. So first of all, insurance is a contract. Obviously, it's a written contract. Between whom? Between two parties. Between two parties. I am going to underline those terms. If you remember the terms which I have underlined, then the meaning of insurance will become easier. So insurance refers to that written contract or agreement between two parties. Now, which are those two parties and what they do? Through which the insuree, this is the first party. Insuree means we, the people. If I have taken insurance of my life, then I am the insuree. If I have taken insurance for my bike, then I am the insuree. Insuree pays. What insuree pays? Premium that we have discussed. A monthly or quarterly or half yearly or annually amount decided at the time of entering into a contract, that is to be paid by the insuree to the insurer, or by the insured person to the insurance company. Now, the insuree pays premium, but what he gets against the amount he has paid in the form of insurance. So, and against getting an undertaking, that is promise, and undertaking from the insurer, because as we have discussed earlier, it is the written contract between two parties. The one is insuree, the another one is insurer. Now, that he will be compensated as per risk covered. Listen, what promise is given? Promise is given by the insurer for the compensation, that he'll be compensated as per risk covered. The word is important, risk covered. If I have taken an insurance for 5 lakh and if the damage is 10 lakh to the property, insurance company won't give me 10 lakh. It's as simple as it seems. Risk covered. If I have taken a mediclaim of 2 lakh and the bill for my hospitalization was 3 lakh, so insurance company won't make the payment of 3 lakh. Insurance company will pay up to 2 lakh and the remaining amount I am supposed to pay. So, as per the risk covered and the amount decided for the financial loss. So, to remember the entire definition, to remember the whole meaning, we just need to focus on these underlined parts. So, once again, insurance refers to that written contract or agreement between two parties through which the insuree pays premium and as against getting an undertaking, that is promise, from the insurer that he will be compensated as per risk covered and the amount decided for the financial loss. This is the basic definition of insurance. It is comprehensive definition, it is all inclusive. Maybe if you have a reference book, then the definition of insurance given in that respective reference book might differ from this which we have written on the board. But the thing is, it is all inclusive. So, once again, insurance refers to that contract, that written contract or agreement between two parties through which the insuree pays premium and as against getting an undertaking from the insurer that he will be compensated as per the risk and the amount decided for the financial loss. Now see, for an ideal insurance contract, for a good insurance contract, for a perfect insurance policy, we need to follow these 4 principles. And it is not like that the all 4 principles are to be followed by the insurer or insuree. Few are from the viewpoint of company, few are from the viewpoint of insured or insuree, and there are chances that the given point is applicable to both the party. So let us start. Number 1, principle of utmost good faith. Now see, utmost good faith, up to the extent to which it is possible, you have to disclose all the information in front of the representative of insurance company. Means when the agent visits your house, your office, and when you are talking about the insurance and the policies and the rules, at that time you need to keep a good faith. That is, whatever information is provided by the insurance company, it is absolutely right. and whatever information is provided by the insured to the insurer, that is by us to the insurance company or by the insurance company to us, the information provided is 100% right. It is said that even if the agent or the insurance company do not ask for some information, but if you think that this information may affect the insurance contract, then you need to disclose that information. That is, insurance is based on the principle of utmost good faith. Emphasize on the term utmost good faith. Both the parties must have faith in each other. See, if in future insurance company comes to know that the principle of utmost good faith is broken, means you have provided some false information or you have misguided insurance company on certain ground, or some information is hidden, you haven't disclosed it properly, then there are chances that insurance company will end the contract. You will lose your right for compensation, and whatever amount you have paid in the form of premium to the insurance company will also be forgotten. Whatever amount you have paid, bhul jao. Your right for compensation, bhul jao. The thing is, you have broken the principle of utmost good faith. You have to be transparent. You have to be honest while entering into a contract. Even on some simple questions. For example, that the insurance company has raised the question that have you in past undertaken any surgery on your body? आपने कभी पहले कोई ऑपरेशन करवाया हुआ है? If it was there, then please say yes. If it was not there, then you can say no. But if you have said no, and if in future you are caught that operation was made but you denied, you provided a false information, so principle of utmost good faith is broken. Your insurance contract will become void. This is a new word for you people. It is void. Void means cancel. Subject to cancellation, nahi. It is cancelled. It's not avoidable. It will become void. So, number one, you have to follow the principle of utmost good faith. Number two, indemnity. Principle of indemnity. That is principle to make the loss good. Principle of making the loss good. Indemnity. As it is decided, as it is disclosed in the definition, that it is an undertaking from the insurer that insurance company will indemnify. Insurance company will indemnify. Insurance company will be providing compensation, or the insured person or the insuree will be compensated for what? As per the risk covered and the amount decided for the financial loss. The amount decided for the financial loss. So that is principle of indemnity. Now again, insurance contract is to compensate. Insurance contract is to indemnify. Insurance contract is to make the loss good by the insurance company to the insured person. Insurance or the principle of insurance or the insurance contract is not meant for the profit. हमें इंश्योरेंस में से प्रॉफिट नहीं कमाना है. So suppose the value of your property is 5 lakh. You have taken the insurance for 3 lakh. And if the property is damaged, you'll be getting maximum 3 lakh. You won't get 5 lakh. Same way, if the value of the property is 5 lakh, you have taken the insurance of 3 lakh, but the amount of damage is 2 lakh. So you will be getting a proportionate amount. Insurance is not a contract to make profit. Insurance is not a contract to make profit. Keep this in mind. In your textbook, 3 different examples are given. Study it well. Number 3, insurable interest. Yes. Whenever we take any insurance, we must be having insurable interest in that. A very simple thing. We must be having a financial interest to that property. Like, suppose my favorite car is Audi Q4 and my neighbor has bought a brand new Audi Q4. So is it possible that being Audi Q4 my favorite car, I'll take the insurance of that? No, because I do not have any financial interest in that property. Same way, if I am a landlord and I have placed my property for the rent purpose, I mean I have let out my property. So my tenant is not having any financial interest in the property. So he won't be taking any insurance. As the property belongs to me, I'll take the insurance because I am having the financial interest in that property. Insurable interest can be explained in the easiest way, like if by the existence of that property you are benefited and in the absence you are suffering a loss, you are facing a loss. यानी कि अगर प्रॉपर्टी के एग्जिस्टेंस से यू आर बेनिफिटेड एंड इन द एब्सेंस ऑफ दैट प्रॉपर्टी यू आर फेसिंग अ लॉस, देन you have insurable interest in the property. We can say that you have insurable interest in that property. Is it clear? Now, principle of subrogation. This is quite new for you. Principle of subrogation. Now, suppose you have taken insurance for the property and the property is damaged. Whatever claim you have demanded from the insurance company has settled full claim. Then the damaged property, the scrap, belongs to insurance company. Yes. Suppose I have taken insurance of bike for 60,000. My property is damaged. That is, my bike is damaged. I have applied for the claim and the insurance company has accepted a claim of full amount, that is 60,000. So my insurance was for 60,000. Property is fully damaged. The cost of the property was 60. I got 60,000 full amount. So now the scrap or the damaged bike, the property, the ownership of that belongs to the insurance company. I cannot do that from one side I am getting 60,000 from the insurance company and on the other hand I sold that scrapped bike in the market and I got 10,000. So 60 plus 10, 70. Insurance contract is not meant for making the profit that we have seen in point number 2. And the important thing, this principle of subrogation is not applicable to the life insurance. Life insurance पे ये applicable नहीं है. For example, if a person die and the insurance he has taken is 20 lakh. So if the insurance company settled the claim with the family members for 20 lakh, can we say that the death body belongs to the insurance company? No. So principle of subrogation is not applicable to the life insurance. Is it clear? So what have we seen today? Unit 2, business service part 1. 4 points are there: insurance, post, warehouse, transport. We have started insurance, then we'll move to warehouse and in transport service. At last we will discuss postal service. Meaning of insurance: insurance refers to that written contract or agreement between two parties through which one party, that is insuree, pays premium against getting an undertaking from the insurer that he will be compensated as per the risk covered and the amount decided for the financial loss. There are 4 main principles of insurance. Number 1, principle of utmost good faith. Number 2, principle of indemnity. Number 3, insurable interest. Number 4, subrogation. Utmost good faith, you are not supposed to hide any information. Indemnity, you will be getting the amount for the loss which is actually incurred or the proportionate amount. You cannot get the amount more than for what the property is damaged. Insurable interest, you must be having a financial interest in the property. And principle of subrogation, that is, if the full amount of claim is settled, then the ownership of the property belongs to insurance company. Now, a little bit homework. As in the next video, we are going to discuss about the types of insurance. That is, one will be general insurance, one will be life insurance. In life insurance, there are subtypes. In general insurance, there are subtypes. You are supposed to read that. So whenever in the next video, next time, if you are watching your video on YouTube for part 2, unit 2, part 2, second video, you will be having a fair idea. So just read insurance part from your unit 2. Is it clear? Thank you.